Hello. So in this edition of the videos, we'll again see the 5 lab questions for the certification. So let's say what is the first question? You need to create a storage account named this in the COP data with this ID resource group. The solution must meet the following requirements. The first one is the must able to host the virtual disk files for Azure virtual machines, and the second is the cost of accessing that files must be minimized and replication cost must be minimized. Yeah, so let's see what we can do from the portal. So first let's create a storage account. Okay, so yes, create, and just put the resource group. For me it is this, but for the exam just make sure the resource group which is given you put there. It's getting duplicate, so I'm just changing it. Storage account name and a standard, and here the Microsoft recommends the general purpose v2. So as it supports that disk and blob files and everything, so just make sure. And for replication, read access geo-redundant storage, that is something which we have selected. It allows in case of any failure, it allows you to read the data from the secondary storage. So yeah, so let me I'm on Microsoft site, and it says that as per the latest release, it supports all the blobs, files, queues, tables in mind. And general purpose is something that supports everything. So v2, which is the latest one, it supports the disk, so which we have selected, although it's also support the v1, but it's the Microsoft recommends a v2, as you can see here. Is using a general purpose v2 storage account. Most scenarios, as there is no any specific has been in the question, so the v2 is fine. And the replication, if you go here, and I have selected zone redundant, so as if it is down, then you can read it from the secondary storage. This is what I have selected. So this marks the end of the lab questions, where it was that just must host that virtual VM disk, and the cost of accessing those files must be minimized with the application. Okay, so let's move into the next question. The next question is you are on a premises network with this IP address is the range of your network. You need to ensure that only the device which are in this network can connect to this storage account, which is this. So let's move on the portal and see what we can do it. Okay, just give me a second. Okay, so I have a storage account here. So what I'll do is go to the storage account, and under here in this blade you will see the firewall and virtual network. So just select that, and underneath you will see the currently is allowing all networks. So but we need a specific network to access this storage account. So you select a selected network, and here you have to put the range. So it is yeah, all the IP255 IPs. So I'll put that CIDR there, and here you go. Yep, so it's considering all the IP this under this range. If you want to access it, you can use your current IP, which you can see it's coming the my client IP address, my internet IP right now. But just make sure that what it is in the question, and you just put that range and save and close. Yep, and this marks the end of the slab question. Hello, so let's see what is in the next. So you need to create a function app named this ID, and that must support the sticky session. Okay, and the solution must minimize the Azure related cost of the app service plan. Okay, what should you do from the Azure portal? Great. So let's see, the sticky session and the plan, the app service plan. Okay, so on the portal and search function app. Here I have, go to the function app. Just make sure if it is mentioned in the the lab that should be particular in the resource group, then put the resource groups accordingly. So this name, I have just copied that, and since there is no any runtime it's been mentioned in the, so I have selected the .NET Core, Windows, and just make sure under the plan type you must select app service plan and SQ NV size as the F1, which is a free one, supports that sticky session. So in all editions of SQs, the sticky session is available, and since there is no any such specific ask that which SQ will be selected, so I'm just going with F1 as ask is to the cost will be minimum. So F1, which is a free one, and so by default just make sure that you are selecting the right SQ here and create. Let's get this finish, and yeah, so by default this is an affinity is on, but in case somehow it's get disabled, and you have to go and just make sure that the application request routing, which you will see here in the function app configuration, in the general setting you would see that application request routing affinity is on. So basically this one is something that gives you the session affinity that you are looking in this question actually. So yep, just make sure it is open. Session sticky session, we have enabled it, and we have selected the free one, the free SQ, so it's also the cost effective what is been asked in the question. So this marks the end of this question. Okay, the next question is, you plan to protect on-premise virtual machine and Azure virtual machine by using the Azure backup. You need to prepare backup infrastructure in Azure. The solution must minimize the cost of storing the backups in Azure. So essentially it is just asking to prepare the backup infrastructure. To backup infrastructure, what we have to do is go to the recovery service vault and create the service vault here where the backup will reside. So if there is no any resource group, you just create by your name. For me selecting just this exam lab, the vault name. If it is there in the question, just put the same vault name. Otherwise just put according to what reason or what the intent or what VM set that you want to backup it here. So let this get created. So we got this service vault, and you need to, yes, this is all the things, minimize the cost. Okay, so what we have to do is, we got the service vault, but we have to make sure that their application and everything is the cost effective. So under the backup configuration section, so properties, so service vault properties, and the backup configuration, you would see either a storage application type. So locally redundant, this is something which is a cheapest one, it will store the 3 copies of data in the same physical location. So this is what essentially we have to do from this question perspective. If you have any, so as you can see on a Microsoft site, and local rental storage LRS1, the copy synchronize the data 3 times within the single physical location in the same primary region where this the vault is, and LRS is least expensive. This is what the cheapest option that was asked in the question. So yep, this marks the end of this question. Great. So the next lab question is, you plan to host several secure websites on WVM3. You need to allow HTTPS over TCP port 443 to WVM3 and to prevent HTTP over TCP port 80. So essentially we have to restrict port 80 HTTP access and allow HTTPS over 443. So let's move on the portal and see what we can do it. So first, so there are multiple ways to do it. So what I'm going to do here is, we'll create a network security group. We'll create an inbound rule there. So I'm just creating the network security group here, and we'll attach this network security group to the same subnet where the VM is. So automatically these inbound rules will get applied. So as you can see here, I'm into NSG, and here we have inbound and outbound rules. So ask here is allow for 43 and restrict 80. So go to the inbound security rules, add, let me just add quickly in the internet. Instead of getting the specific port, we can do here is to get this rule in another way. Just a second. You can select it here individually, the port, source port and target port, or you can select the service tag, internet, and either way, like you have the option to do it in both the way. So what I'm saying is destination instead of the port, deny, and give the priority order. By this order the rule will get executed. So just give some relevant name here, so deny, and another one is which I'm going to add here, same way, but we'll say allow internet any port, source port TCP, or sorry, let's put it 443 and put it source port any. And TCP allow, yes, and the priority, put the name, I'm just skipping that, and just allow here. So we got two rules here. The 443 80 is something which is deny, and the 443 is something which allow to access it. So I have a VM. Let me quickly go there, and yep, everything is correct here. Let me just verify once again. So next step is we got the network security group and all the rules. Go to the VM. Where is my VM? It is VM, IS is installed, and nothing more I can. So I just bind at HTTP and HTTPS in the IS. Okay. This is VM, and VM has a different network security group. As you can see, the different rules are here. So what we'll do is first change the get this VM into the different network security group rules. So what you can do is under the subnet, go to the subnet where that VM is, and you see in that network we have two subnets. So we'll go in this subnet and network security groups, and this is the current one. So I'm going to change with what we have created, NSC01 something, where we have created our rules. And yep, so yep, we attach that subnet with this network security group. Next thing what we have to do is restart your VMs. It's a good to recommended to restart it. Sometimes the rules and it's not getting applied and you will feel some challenge, so better to restart it. So I'm on the VM now. Network section, you can see that the new rules which we have created on the NSG is displaying it, showing it here. Let's copy it, go to the browser, and I have just put it. I'm trying to access with the HTTP. As you can see, it's trying to keep loading it, and finally it went. So meanwhile I'm just making sure that I'm accessing HTTP. Yes, in the next tab or here only just put HTTPS, and as you can see I'm able to access it. So this was basically the ask to your site, your web application, your website, access through the HTTPS over H443, not on HTTP port 80. So this is what we can start here. Just make sure that you start your VMs once you apply that rule, because sometimes it doesn't get applied until you, unless you restart it. So this marks all the 5 questions in this edition of the video. Thank you so much for watching and staying it here till now, and just like the video and put your comments if you liked it. Thank you.